Hey. What's going on, good people? Welcome to Man Talk Mondays. We're about to get into it. This is an open forum. We talk about everything, current events, relationships, religion, politics, the whole nine. We come from a man's perspective.
A man's perspective.
Now, that doesn't mean that it's only for men. It simply means we come from a man's perspective. We're open to everybody. We want you to participate. So you can drop a comment and we can see your comments. So you can participate in the conversation with us. You can ask questions. You can make comments. We want you to be a part of this. So by all means, join in. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. Monday, I'm anxious, ready to get at it, man. Ready to get at it.
Okay. Yes. All right. I hope you're ready. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Being that we come from the standpoint of current events, we got an issue that's a little close to home, for me anyway. Wylie ISD, what were you thinking? Now, this is about a controversial school assignment, right? So here's the rundown. For those who don't know, haven't seen it. So there was a school assignment put out in the junior high school, 8th grade assignment, social studies assignment. A picture in the social studies assignment was grabbed by the National Fraternal Order of Police. This particular picture depicted some images and comparisons of police. Now, I want you to see this picture, all right? So I want you to know exactly what these people are seeing, all right? So this is the picture.
Oh,
this is the picture, right? So you see what's going on. There seems to be a progression, a historical progression in the cartoon from slave masters to slave owners to KKK to this was clearly a time of civil rights, and then all the way down to the current event of George Floyd and Derek Chauvin, the police that we know who kept his knee on the young man's neck until he passed away right there on the street, right? Now, this is the picture. This is from the thing that the National Fraternal Order of Police put out about this assignment, right? So this is now I'm a part of this happens in Wylie. I live in Wylie, and I'm a part of the Wylie Facebook page. I first caught wind of it on that page, and let me tell you, the comments were, it was everything just shy of burn the teacher at the stake. You know what I'm saying? It was, man, and it gave me an idea and I put on there, I said, listen, we see people, we pass them in the grocery store, we see them in restaurants, and we never really know what their ideals are. But then you jump into a social media post and oh my goodness, people express their true feelings about situations when they get behind their keyboard, man. So this thing has caught fire so bad.
As it should have.
It's caught fire so bad that the governor of Texas has decided to chime in, and he, according to Fox 4, Governor Abbott calls for firing of Wylie ISD teacher over assignment that likened police to KKK slave owners. Governor Abbott is calling for the termination of this teacher. This is straight from Fox 4. Now, there are a lot of news outlets that have picked it up, but Fox 4, I just pulled this from Fox 4. You can type it in, anybody can type it in Google, and you'll pull up a whole bunch of articles about this. But this is what's going on. It has hit the level that even the governor has taken notice of what's going on in little old Wylie, with all of the issues he got going on right now with coronavirus and just trying to keep people safe and everything. He took the time to express his frustration with the school assignment that was so what you thinking, man? What's on your mind right now?
I'm trying. Listen. I get it. I do. Well, tell me something about the teacher. Please. Is she a former Black Panther?
No.
Farrakhan? Tell me something about the teacher, please.
So, no information is out there about who the teacher is. Now, the only people who probably know are the students and the parents who know exactly who the teacher is. And it's probably a good thing because there may be people with torches and pitchforks outside if we really knew who this person was. Now here's the thing about the assignment. A representative from Wylie ISD said the actual social studies lesson was actually about the Bill of Rights, and the picture was just to show the type of political satire that is put out in this country. So the assignment wasn't about the actual picture. The picture was an illustration of political satire. Now, they could have grabbed any picture because there's plenty of political satire out there, but the teacher didn't make this picture, but they grabbed it. Whoever put this assignment together did grab it, and then they put it into this assignment. But the assignment was not about the actual events on the cartoon.
Now, you can say that all you want to. You can say, listen, man, hey, bro.
I'm just saying what the representative from Wylie ISD, when they made the statement, that's what they said was going on. So, do you believe it?
Let me say this. I just don't know if I'm just trying to figure out what could your rationale be. Because it sounds like you had a really good idea at the beginning. Okay. But as you kept going, and when that thing went sideways, abort, and abort. No, there is no way. Because you got, as a teacher, don't you have to steer away from this kind of thing? We're not supposed to be sharing our own personal political views, and even if whether I feel like it's true or not, it's not really up for discussion right now because we're talking about the kids. And now, if I'm a parent and my kid and I see it, I am going to be livid. What if I'm a police officer? What if I'm a police officer?
That was, I'm gonna put it back up so people can see it again. That was one of the things that was said in the Facebook group. Was there are police officers that have kids that are in school. What are these kids supposed to think about their parents, their police officer parents, if they look at things like this, if they see things like this? Now, everybody, you see it, right? You see the progression. The National Fraternal Order of Police put out a statement, and they're the ones that set this thing on fire.
As they should have. You don't think so? Dude, listen, I'm going to go you one better. I don't even think she should have had it on her Facebook page, on her personal Facebook page. You can't put that. You have a responsibility because of what you do and who you are. You can't do that. Whether it's true or not, I'm not here to say that. I'm just simply saying you can't do that. You can't do that.
Selena said it is not political satire with a side of I'm making a statement. So you feel like the teacher was kind of sneaking one in there, kind of a little jab?
Sneaking? That's like sneaking a chihuahua in the house. They gonna wake up everybody. You can't sneak them in the house. What are you doing? Listen, man. I understand. Listen, I understand in the climate that we in, people want to make statements, and people. I get it. Wiley's still white. Wiley ain't totally turned over the way yet. Have y'all checked? Wiley's still white. Girl, you better get in your car right now and get up under the seat and have somebody drive you out of there.
Like I said, the name, nothing about the teacher has been put out, and it's probably a good thing because it's amazing. If you could have seen the actual Wylie page and seen the comments that were rolling, it let me know that.
Bro, racism
is alive and well.
Is alive? Brother, racism at the front door. You think it's alive? You know, listen. And if you don't believe racism alive, every now and then poke the bear and see. Every now and then just do some things to see. They'll let you know. They'll whoop you back to your house.
She poked the bear, brother. She poked the bear. All right, Sophia says, I teach with all careful tact. I am very careful not to bring my own personal beliefs in the class. Now, okay. All right. I get it. Hold on. I get it. Is this not actual things that have
you can't do Don't you do that. Don't you do that.
Listen. But is it wrong to tell history from a certain perspective?
See, there you go, man. There you go.
Help me out, man. Help me out.
Listen, yeah, okay. They don't
help me out.
I'm gonna choke you like they should be choking you. I'm gonna reach there and I'm gonna choke you.
You choked enough, John. Choked enough.
I think there is a time and place for everything.
Right.
If you're in a black private school, if you were something that's private that can't get out to the masses and everybody's thinking it's like yours, you can't get in a Wylie. Wylie is for white. It ain't for Wylie. It's for white. Wow. It's for Wylie. You can't no. That black folk just started moving to Wylie. Over the last 5 to 10 years now, it's the government is still in place in Wylie. Listen, I'm gonna tell everybody living in Wylie. Let me tell you now, don't get too comfortable. Y'all get too comfortable too quick. Y'all doing a whole lot. Y'all better slow it down because she wrong, D. She wrong.
Oh, okay. So, question: should true current events be used for school assignments?
Well,
should they be used?
They should be used with discretion, D. Because we have a responsibility, D. We got a responsibility. I can't listen. If I want, I can't as a teacher. Man, it's just as a teacher though.
Right. But here's the thing. Is the lesson inside the home. And as it pertains to police officers, is it the same in both households, black households and white households? Is it the same?
No, it's not.
What's different about it? And why?
Well, it's more skewed in the white household because you gonna send a little white kid home in shock talking about mama. They said that the police is like the Ku Klux Klan. What are they talking about? I don't understand. The police are my friends. That's what the little white kid is saying. The police work for us. They have to do it. His mama's like, baby, you sure right. You know, Karen is his mama. And she's so right. Dude, do you not understand the wrath that Karen is going to have on you? Karen ain't got nothing else to do but find this kind of stuff. We got to be smarter than this, D. Am I wrong? We don't have to be smarter than this.
Hey, man. Okay, Tarsha said yes at current events with caution. So, she said we can talk about current events, but with caution.
Okay. So throw me a current event out. Somebody, a black guy just got shot 7 times in the back. Explain to me how we're gonna use that. D? Explain how we use that.
Okay, how we gonna use it? We can use it. We're talking about social studies right now. Keep in mind what I said. The assignment was not about the picture. The picture was part of the assignment.
You just used it.
The assignment was about. Listen, the assignment was about the Bill of Rights, rights in this country, and it talked about political satire. When it came to the part about political satire, they used this picture.
All the other pictures.
What if they had used a picture of Sambo? Would people have objected?
What, do you just want to fight today?
I'm just asking. Is it really being looked at fairly?
Well, and listen, let me say this. I think there was a time when America would have used that and wouldn't have thought twice about it. But in the current climate that we're living in right now, I'm gonna have to pass on the Sambo, the Sambro, and all of them Sams. I'm gonna have to pass on. It's not a good. Oh man. Oh no. You just can't. You just can't, man. And let me say this. So do I think it was true? I do. I think all of it, KKK, killing the black. I think it all is in direct correlation together. I personally believe that, but they are not supposed to be teaching personally what I believe, because if it cannot be proven as a fact, it should never come up in front of kids anyway.
Okay, so Fred Robinson says the public education action system has been telling it from a certain perspective for a very long time. Is he wrong? Is he wrong?
No. It's been one-sided. It has. It's been the way they've been teaching our kids in school has been very one-sided. But I can understand you trying to teach them something about Black American history. I can even understand you sliding that in. But to say you might as well be saying that white people are the devil. You might as well.
Okay. Did we not? Because I know I did. Did we not learn about slavery? And
they don't teach it in school.
And the KKK, yes, they did. That's in books. But now, are we acknowledging that those were evil things, or these are evil groups of people? Because now that the KKK has been grouped in, the police have been grouped into this, are we now acknowledging that the KKK is evil and that slavery was an evil thing? Are we now acknowledging this?
We are acknowledging, but we don't want to. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, listen, it ain't no doubt to me. But listen, you can't give America all the castor oil. You just gotta give them a spoon at a time. You trying to shove the whole bottle? No, they ain't ready for that.
Oh, okay. All right. So Sophia said there. She said we need to discuss all of this. However, allow the students to introduce it. You can introduce topics with this type of article or comment. She's saying let the students present it. All right. Selena agrees with Sophia. She said it would have a different response if the kids brought this in as a project, especially in an inquiry-based learning environment.
Would it?
So, okay, so let's say a student brings it in for a class assignment, and they bring it in. They got to present in front of the class. They get in front of the class, and they start presenting that picture. What do you think would happen still?
See, I was in class one time, and I remember I was out in this all-white school when I was, I think I was 6th, 7th grade. It was all-white school. So one of the kids had volunteered. He said, hey, why don't we just donate some money to whatever the cause was? And she looked around the room and everybody, she said, everybody may not be able to give no money. And everybody looked at me like this. Hey. And they was right. I ain't got no money to give out. But I'm simply saying how uncomfortable it made me feel. Do you understand that those white kids gonna go home and ask their parents, hey mom, this is what we talked about in class, and they're gonna lose their minds. They're gonna lose their minds because what? First of all, the white America has a different way of looking at things, and especially the children, because they've been taught a different way to look at things.
Right.
Now, so you trying to get them in school and have them untaught the way mom and dad have been teaching that everything is rosebuds and the world is ours and we can control this, we control that. You gonna get them in class and you trying to undo all that and have them coming home talking about, when we actually involved in slavery, that's just not right. No white folks ain't trying to hear that. They're not trying to hear that.
Right. You just said it. They're not trying to hear that, but do they need to?
Yes. Yes, D.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What is it about this country that we're so afraid of uncomfortable conversations? It's already uncomfortable in this country. It's uncomfortable when a black person is driving down the road and the police pulls in behind them. It is very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable when a little black kid is walking down the street and the police drives by. It's uncomfortable. So when are we going to talk about what's uncomfortable for real?
You are right. You are, sir, excuse me for doubting you. You are right. But do not pick the school system to do it. Listen, if you want to work for a private, listen, again, you can't feed them the whole gallon of castor all at one time, D. Can we agree to give them a little bit at a time? Even if the students come up with it. If you're a teacher and a student comes in and asks you about it, how much can you really, I'll put it to you like this, how much is that white teacher going to talk about it? I bet she ain't going to talk about it. I bet she going to say, bro, if you don't get someone to sit down somewhere, you got to ask your mom and them about that foolishness because we don't talk about that in school.
All right. So Selena says the teacher has to act as a facilitator. This is healthy discussion and sparring, especially in today's environment. The teacher absolutely should not press their perspective, but allow for discussion to remain objective and healthy. This is the world we live in. We have to teach children to discuss uncomfortable things in a healthy and respectful way.
But you're not going to talk about slavery, KKK, police on the.
We talk about it already in school. It's a part of American history, but it's only taught from one perspective. We learn about slavery. We don't learn about the horrors of it. We learn about the civil rights movement. We don't learn about the people who were actually killed.
Okay. All right. Okay, how about this?
All right.
In the history books, they bring up Thomas Jefferson. They talk about all he did, and they talk about all he did. And all of a sudden, one of the black kids tell him, say, whoa, hold on a second, hold on. We talking about the same Thomas Jefferson that raped and pillaged and kidnapped the girl and held her at 13 and had all these kids. We talking about that same Thomas Jefferson. The class is going to explode. Listen to me. The class is going to explode. Do you not agree?
Is that a bad thing?
See, I don't know if it's a bad thing or not. I just know the class. I just know that.
Are we not doing too much of this and too much kumbaya? And do we not need to have serious conversation around this?
We do. But you know what? America may be ready, but I ain't ready. I am not. No.
Shame the devil. If you ain't ready, say you
ready. Listen, and maybe shame on me because I ain't ready. Because it would appear everybody else ready to talk about it. It would appear that America is ready to talk about it. But I just think we need to be careful about how the conversation starts and where it starts, more importantly, because you don't want it dismissed. You don't want it covered up in, like, for example, the conversations that's going on in Wylie right now, they're going to be covered. By the time they get through with this and this teacher, people are going to be scared to bring up anything that looks remotely like this. You don't want to do that. You don't want to bite your hand to spite your face or whatever they say. Your foot. You don't want to bite it to despise it. You don't want to do that. You don't want to bite it.
All right. So Fred Robinson says So it's not the topic that creates the discomfort, but the perspective from which it's told. Right?
Yes. Yeah, and think about this. Most of the time, the perspective is not really about the person as much as what the school people are telling them to teach and how they tell them to teach it. Selena don't get to have Selena them and her friends don't get to add their perspective to the teacher. They're being taught they have a curriculum that they've been told this is what you teach the kids.
Okay. So Selena, my wife, she's in the school system, says, John, what do you think social studies is? It's the study of social situations, past and present.
From a white perspective.
Okay, all right.
Let me tell you something. No. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. No. Stop it.
Okay, so how do you think ideas are transferred to future generations?
Oh, you gotta teach them. You gotta plant seeds, and I get that.
What's the main vehicle that's used for that?
Education.
So, if this thing is to ever get better, do we not need
junior high
to discuss these things in the setting where ideas are actually expressed?
You know my problem with this, D. Most adults can't even discuss this stuff without being irate and acting a fool with each other. To be honest, we can't come to healthy discussions talking about police brutality and why this and why that. And Tom Jefferson, we need to take down these statues because these people was hateful and they was doing all this. But you think and y'all think that the kids are supposed to be able to get this same information and do better with it than adults are doing with it. Y'all have lost your minds. You have lost your minds.
So what are we teaching kids if adults refuse to talk about it? It doesn't go away. As a matter of fact, with social media, it has gone to a whole nother level. I wouldn't know about somebody that the police killed over in Wisconsin or whatever had it not been for social media, because the main media outlets are not talking about this stuff. For social media, somebody standing on the street corner is filming live at 10. They're filming on their phone directly to social media, showing what's happening.
Okay. All right. So basically, you would like it taught from a different perspective rather than just a white perspective. You want a black perspective as well. But what about then? But both of them are subject to the opinions of the person that's telling it, though, right? Because if you get a black, if you say, okay, all right, I'm a black people. If you want to teach social studies from your perspective, you go right ahead. But Miss Karen over here is going to teach you from hers. Now the kid's going to be walking in the hall looking at each other like, what? But you understand what I'm saying?
But what about putting the complete facts? Why do we selectively leave out things and say, oh, kids can't handle stuff like that?
But do we really leave them out though, D? Because we talk about Christopher Columbus, and we don't leave out what he did to the Indians. We celebrate it. We talk to celebrate it. We don't leave out nothing that he did.
I think we leave out detail. We kind of say what he did, but since we pump up, he discovered America. Which, how can you discover something when there's people already there? But he discovered America, right? And there is nothing that tells you what he actually did to those people. Nothing.
We know he threw a hot blanket over there.
Right. All right. So that's the problem. Adults can't discuss because they did not learn how to in school. Because people like John are afraid to let students discuss difficult situations in a healthy, objective environment. Tarsha says it has to start somewhere. Kids are our future generation. Teach them, they teach us, we learn together and work to change the one-sided view. So I say again,
if we do it, we're not gonna do it one. If we tell, if black, so you telling me if black people tell it, they ain't gonna be one-sided?
Want to say that one more time?
So you telling you, Tasha, Selena, the cousin, your kin people, all of them, y'all telling me that if we get an opportunity to teach it from our perspective, it's not gonna be one-sided. We ain't gonna put no stank on it. You telling me we ain't gonna put no stank on it?
Yeah. It's probably, here's the thing. Now I've heard people say this. They say, in order to get things back straight, you have to pull hard to the other side. Just to get things to level out. If you're going off the road, you don't just gradually steer your car back on. You yank it.
You gotta yank it too.
And eventually try to correct it. So, is it not time for a healthy growth of the black perspective?
But in Wylie though, in white Wylie, can we start in the hood first?
Are there? Now you talk about, so is it being taught in the hood?
No.
Do we find cartoons like this in the hood?
No.
Why can't teachers over there get away with stuff like this?
Why
are they looking at getting away with stuff like this?
Because they're going to, again, like I said, they're going to, by the time Wylie gets through with this is going to be a footnote, an afterthought, and everything. I'm just simply saying, bring it out somewhere where it may be more welcome, where the response to it may be more welcome. Wylie ain't, listen, Wylie is right. Get out of there with that foolishness. Get out now with that foolishness. Wylie ain't having it. Let me tell you something. There's two places I know who ain't having it. Wylie and Allen. And those are two places that we live. They ain't having it. They ain't having it.
Okay. But here's the thing. You cannot unsee anything.
True.
The kids already saw it. And anything, you have now given national attention to this political cartoon by making a fuss about it.
You're right. You absolutely have. You absolutely have.
So kids will see this. So now something that could have been left in an eighth grade class, all the Wylie students know about it now.
So that you think, well, not only that, more than Wylie students know about it.
Right.
Because all the kids talking about it now.
Right.
That's what they do. They all talk about the same thing.
Right.
So is it going to be worth the teacher losing her job? Not ever. Listen, they're not going to let her in the daycare. I'm just going to tell you that now. She is now, whoever she or he is the Colin Kaepernick of teachers. And she is, whoever it is, falling on the sword now. I just hope it was worth it, because the people that you're doing this for, do you have people that's going to say about you? Because you better call Nike, you better call somebody. You ain't teaching no more. Tell me I'm lying.
Like I said, it's probably a good thing that they did not release any information about the teacher, because I believe harm probably would have come to them. That's how livid the people on the post were. Now, there were people that were being reasonable, like, man, y'all blowing this way out of proportion. And I'm not talking about black people that were saying this. I'm talking about other whites were saying, listen, you guys are taking this way too far. This assignment was not that big of a deal. They were not teaching about police brutality. It was an insert inside of a lesson about political. Think about, hold on, because now when you talk about political satire, how do you think they use propaganda? They start with political satires. I could go and search and pull up images of black people depicted as evil beasts that were put in newspapers that fueled all of these massacres that we just found out about. Okay. That prompted white people to kick in the doors of black people, pull them out, kill them, burn down the whole community based on what was being pumped through the political satires.
I'm not saying, Derek, Reverend Doctor, book writer, author. I'm not saying none of that because obviously you pull it from all that.
Because
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm simply saying this. Well, let me address this. Tasha said, John, what difference does it make whether it was Dallas or Wylie? The only difference is in Dallas, it might not have been so much pushback in Dallas because Dallas is basically black county. But that's my own. It might have been more accepting in Dallas. They might not would have acted as such a fool, but they would have acted a fool, but maybe not that big of a fool.
All right, so Tasha said we were filling the gaps. Of course, it's going to be told from our view, but that's the only way it gets out there. Selena said, I'm not saying we should teach it because it would definitely be one-sided. I'm saying if it is brought to the class discussion by a student and is a current event, to allow the students to discuss it in an objective manner without the teacher's perspective, but rather the teacher is facilitating. Fred says, maybe this teacher decided to sacrifice him or herself for something much bigger. Think about it. This thing has already grown legs.
Oh, and listen, I applaud, commend, and all that for it. But we need to get a GoFundMe page some quick. Because she's not gonna be able to whoever.
We don't know their name though.
We would know their name, brother.
I'm surprised nobody's put it out.
It's too much information. We have access to too much information. I believe there's no way this name she's gonna be up on the newspaper like this. I don't know what they're talking about. I
searched. And maybe somebody out there is a better researcher than I am. I'm pretty sure there is. If you can search, find the actual assignment or the actual teacher. I know it was in a middle school in Wylie. I forgot the name of the middle school, but it was in a middle school. It was an 8th grade assignment. So the teacher was an 8th grade teacher. So we know that. Yeah, he said we need to get a GoFundMe page for it.
What we just do GoFundMe for the 8th grade teacher that put this out. You got to put no name on it, and they can just go by with a mask on. Hey, you can't see none of these masks now. They can go by like this. You can't see none of them.
Now, one thing that was hopeful was, like I said, there were other white people on the post who were saying how ridiculous everybody else was acting behind this assignment.
But you know why the people were acting so ridiculous about it, when something has been under the covers for years, and you know people are getting more and more educated about what you've been doing, and you trying to keep that thing under wraps as long as you can. And she pulled the covers off of it, and then give Wylie an opportunity to address it. It's out now. People have already been saying not Wylie, but the police, KKK, they're shooting people. It has to be something attached. There has to be, because why do they get away with this and we can't get away with nothing? People probably are already saying it. But when you find a satire and you use this and it's something, if they had to ask the cities that signed up for this coming out in their city, Wylie would have been number one. We don't want none of that. We don't want ever. What city want to be known for? Because like Freddie said, this thing got legs. It's running. It don't just have legs. It's running.
It's sprinting, bro. It is sprinting. Now let me say, I live in Wylie, and as a black man, I've never had a negative interaction with Wylie police. Wylie police, for all intents and purposes, what I can tell, I don't see the issues that you see in other places. I don't see the issues here, but there is an undertone in the people that Wylie is a certain way. Because somebody actually posted, that's not the Wylie way. They posted those words. this is not the Wylie way.
Well, she didn't understand, or they didn't understand that y'all was out there yet. Cause
I got to drive around.
Black folks, yeah, but okay. Have y'all been out there long enough? Have black people been out there long enough to affect the government out there? And see, that's what I'm saying. That's the Wylie way.
No. Remember, the mayor got under fire because he made a statement about women not being able to pray.
Was that Wylie too?
That was Wylie. Wylie's mayor said, I don't believe in women praying in open public forums. And there was a big fuss about that. So it just kind of gives an idea of traditionally the air that is here. But like you said, it is changing.
But like we talk about, you say this all the time. White America is trying to hold on to things the way they were. But they've been forced, just like this, they've been forced to change their thinking. Now, for the most part, do I believe that most people are racist? I don't know. I have no idea. I know, but I know this. I know if any white person or black person, well, if you haven't witnessed anything, it's because you're not trying to see it. You got to be looking the other way. You have to be. Exactly. But this the thing, D. If my son comes home with that, and I'm a black man, I'm going to be like, oh my goodness. Oh, it's about to hit the fan. What did they say? Who was the teacher? What was her name? Because I know I'm anticipating the backlash that's going to come from it. Okay. We didn't even talk about whether or not it's true. I'm just
no. You just said something important. Your child brings this home.
Yeah.
Do you take advantage of the opportunity to teach, or do you run from it and shut them down? You use your parenting authority to shut them down because it's too uncomfortable for you to talk about. Because if you don't define it, somebody else will.
But this is the thing about that. Let me be perfectly honest with it, because you're bringing a really good point. You know, how do you explain to your kids the way America is? How do you really truly explain about racism in regards to how well you do, you're going to still be called a nigger? How do you really explain to your kids about no matter how much money you have, you're going to still be just another black guy? It's because it's easy to say, hey man, you got an opportunity to explain to the kid. Dude, to be honest, I'm as much as I can, I don't want to have to explain. I know I'm going to have to, but that's a conversation that I'm really not looking forward to having. Not to say that I'm not going to have it, but I'm really not looking forward to having it.
And here's the thing. You would rather go ahead and have it now than them already having an opinion about it by the time you present it. And at that point, you look like you're scared to talk.
Sure. Right.
As a parent, is it not the parent's responsibility to put things in proper perspective for kids?
It is, but it's a little more difficult now than it was when I was a child. They had way more access to way more information than we did. So you almost trying to race, because my son every now and then will walk in and ask me about something that's going on. Mm-hmm. And now I got to sit down and talk to him about it and try to explain it to him. And because my thought is, I don't know if their little minds really will understand when I sit down and say, okay, listen, this is how it is. Regardless of this, when it's kind of hard to tell my boys how racism is when when all these little white girls won't leave them alone. Their little minds don't get that. They don't. When the school, all my sons like the little different colored girls. Now, dude, it's hard. It's difficult. Well, I know, son, she likes you or whatever. But this is how it is. This is how it is. They ain't trying to hear that, dude.
I get it. One thing I noticed when I was in high school, blacks and whites, you know, you ran into a little issue here and there in pockets, but for the most part, man, we got We got along. We played sports together without a whole lot of issues. And every now and then we could hang out. We were in clubs together, and there was not a lot of racial issues. But the older we have gotten, I'm talking about my class and a couple classes around my class in high school, the older we have gotten, the separation and the divide has become a lot wider. Mm-hmm. Because once you hit the real world, I keep telling people, racism is the little thing they give us to play with. The biggest issue is who controls resources. And if you have a corner on the resources, you have the advantage on all the resources, the jobs, the wealth, the money, you are not going to give that up to make things fair. Okay. You are not going to do that. And when we find ourselves competing for the same jobs against those people that we were cool with in high school, we're competing to have a life. Now the division gets a little bit more rough, and we're not cool like we used to. I went to my 20-year class reunion. Yes, I'm that old. I went to my 20-year class reunion some years ago, and you could feel the tension in the room. You could feel the divide in the room. When we were in high school, I mean, we talked, we laughed, we got along. But now there's an issue. Before your kids hit that, shouldn't we put it in perspective for them before they find that out?
Well, Tasha said something. Tasha,
you want to put Tasha? Okay. Tasha said, I agree, D, that it's become more prominent today. It's never left, but it has definitely resurfaced that racism. And think about racism. What's the race for? The race is for securing your life.
I just now the question was, so are we saying that the Wylie thing it was a good thing? We saying it's going to spark conversation. That's basically what we need.
I think in that sense, I think it did what it needed to do, because now it's out there. Somebody gonna have to talk about it. And I'm looking, like I said, looking in the comments and stuff. People are dialoguing, but the attitudes. Because here's the thing: when people don't want to talk, they look for any way they can to shut you down. Like immediately, this teacher needs to be fired. Why not ask the teacher, why did you put this out here? What was your reasoning? But let's shut her down. Even the governor is calling. By all intents and purposes, the governor, I'll leave it alone. But you have already proved how you handle things with Corona thing. So,
but D, really, what does it matter what her rationale was by doing it? Does it really matter? Is that going to change their mind about getting rid of him or her or what? Is that going to change their mind? Because it's not going to change their mind. Because you
now nothing about the political satire was false. Now the picture in which it was framed was it made a statement that people weren't comfortable with. But in the statement that it made, is it really a false statement?
Okay. Now, arguably, it can be true. But the problem is, arguably, there is nothing that has been proven or nothing that we can say this is true. Now we can have our that's my only problem with it. If we're going to do it, we got to make sure we stating facts and not more or less what we think or suspicions. That's my only thing. I would much rather we talked about some of the heroes that we putting up, the Christopher Columbus or the Thomas Jefferson. I would much rather talk there because we got facts. Oh, this what he did. This was he. But
that's not what satire is. Satire is to express a point about something politically. And whoever writes the satire, they're the ones that come from their perspective, and they can push agendas based on the satire, how they drew it up. So clearly, this person was trying to display that there is an evil that is been continuously oppressing Black people, and it even become legal, because was not slavery legal?
Yeah.
The KKK, were they ever prosecuted for anybody they hung?
Nope. And they still hadn't been put down as a like the Black Panthers have. They still are not a terrorist. They are
not considered a terrorist group, but the minute that the police were added to this picture, now you have a problem with it. So are we openly acknowledging that slavery and the KKK were evil? They are and were evil.
Yeah, but
the police don't want to be attached to them.
But you weren't supposed to be able to see those police without their hoods on to be able to put them in the picture.
Say you're talking too much.
Like, whoa.
Because it is fact that there are KKK members that have gotten in the police force. It is fact that when there have been militias that have gone to terrorize and hang Black people, that police officers were in those militias. It is fact. Not opinion. It is fact. A young man was in his home. A group of men came to his door, not just police. The police was at the door, but the men that were in the driveway were just random cats. But they were there trying to get him out the house. And his mom just happened to be there. And she said, if I had not been here, there is no telling what they would have done to my son. All on the premise of there's a white girl missing, and we think you got something to do with it.
Well, Black folks and them white girls, boy, y'all better leave them white girl alone. Woo, y'all better leave white girl alone. Leave them white girl alone. Now you mean you gotta leave them white girl alone.
But I'm just saying, at some point we gotta have a conversation.
Yeah, I am uncomfortably agreeing.
We don't deal with a generation that just goes with what we say anymore. This generation, from generation the millennials to generation Z, they do not just go with what you say. They're not riding like that no more.
But and somebody said, Selena said, where's the lie? And I'm not saying that kids though, 8th graders, hey, I get it. It just makes me uncomfortable for what's to come with because this not gonna die by you just throwing comments on it. Okay.
Your son is around that age group, right?
Yes, exactly.
What is your conversation with him about police?
Do what they ask you to do. No sudden movements. No talking. Don't do a lot of talking. Answer their question.
Hold on. Time out. So you're not telling them police are your friends? They're here to help you. You're not telling him that?
No, because they're not our friends. They're not.
Okay.
They're not our friends.
Okay.
They're not. They are police officers. Police officers are not your friends.
So here's the thing, and I want everybody to understand this. And I heard somebody say, there is no such thing as a blue life. There is no such thing. Whatever you put into that uniform, that's who they were before you put them in there. They don't change to something different once they put a uniform and a badge on. If anything, whatever twisted ideas, whatever racism or prejudice, whatever they have in them, you give it more license once you throw a badge on it, because that's how they're going to operate. They don't operate from a statement of this is who the law is, and as long as I have this suit on, I got to make sure I represent nothing but the law. No, they bring all of that into that uniform.
Fred is saying something interesting.
All right, so Fred says, what we need is an environment where all parties are heard and, importantly, felt. if I can feel you, I can emphasize. If I can emphasize, where there's empathy, there's hope for something different or better. The problem with traditional America is that she wasn't founded on empathy, wow, compassion, or love. And thanks to our technology, advanced society, her dress is up, and we can see all her business. He is absolutely right. Right. Because you got the hospital gown and see the turn around. We see all the business. He's absolutely right. And that's the thing. Because now that she's been exposed, we gotta talk.
We do. And my biggest thing, and obvious, my biggest thing is uncomfortable conversations. That's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thing is I'm just not. It's uncomfortable. But again, we have to start getting a lot more used to uncomfortable conversations because it's time that we start having them. Because either you're going to have them willingly or you're going to have them unwillingly, but you're definitely going to start having those conversations.
And it takes brave people to have uncomfortable conversations.
Yes, because there's not a line of people that's going to sign up for those type of conversations. But I think hopefully we can bring some light to what's going on, to where people aren't talking to their kids about it. They can this perhaps to give them a foothold or stepping stone to where they can say, "Hey son, have you heard? Hey son or daughter, have you seen? Well, let's talk about this," because it's not easy. As a parent, it's not easy to, "Hey son, sit down. Let me talk to you about what's going on in the world." I would rather talk about sex with my kids than talk about this. And I'm too embarrassed to talk about sex. But yeah. Because man, to be honest, this is such a serious thing, and I don't want them to take it lightly. And I think sometimes we're kind of guilty of, "Hey man, I know y'all hear me, and we talk about different things, but this is really, really important. I want y'all to get this."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's more or less where I'm coming from.
So should true current events be used for school assignments?
I think they should. It's what's going on. It's what's going on. Because they're learning about this, whether we teach them about this in school or not. Because they're on YouTube way more than what we are. Right. They learning all. You know, it's funny. My kids would go to school and they would come home with all these songs, and I'm like, "I know you ain't hearing it from us because we don't play. I can't even understand the rap that y'all listening to, so I know it ain't coming from us."
Right.
They get more from outside the doors than they get inside the house, man. We can only give them influence in the house.
Right. The only thing you can do is give them perspective on what they're exposed to.
Yes, exactly.
So it's clear that this has sparked something that's probably because what needs to happen to the curriculum in classes? Is there more truth that needs to be told? Should history not be taught from equal perspectives in school classrooms? And the ones that control curriculum, we need people at that level to say, "No, this is the real history. Let's tell the truth to these kids." We need to tell the truth about America, who she really is, what she's really done in her past.
If we've been teaching America the wrong way for 100 years, don't you think it's time that we eventually people need to know the truth? I mean, at some point, with all the information that's out there now, they're gonna find out the truth whether you tell them about it or not.
Right.
It's time that we start teaching our kids the truth.
Like Fred said, they're gonna see or hear it. At least we can help them process it safely.
Who is Fred dropping these dimes on us?
Solid brother, man. Excellent personal trainer. If you ever look for a personal trainer.
No, I'm not looking for no personal trainer. Go on now.
I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to people. Looking for a personal trainer. You need to hit this man up. Reggie Robinson, heal thy temple. Healthy temple. Heal thy temple.
Oh, that's him. That's this dude.
That's it, man. He's top notch, man. So, but well, that's all right. The Fred said absolutely. The truth ain't never wrong. It's never wrong. So we got to tell the truth. Got to tell the truth.
America, start drinking the cast off because it's coming.
Ready or not, here I go. I'm going to find you. Well, that's an hour, man. That's it.
Boy, that's a tough hour right there, D. That was a tough hour.
This is what we do. We do it every week. You can catch us right here at 7 o'clock Mondays on Facebook. Join us next week. We'll get you with some more.
Y'all be blessed.